Today's training camp practice is in the books, and we had an offensive explosion today. It was a phenomenal day for the 49ers offense. The defense made some really good plays too. And of course, everyone wants to know, how did the quarterbacks perform today? Don't worry, we'll get into that. First off, we're going to start off with the best player on the field, who continues to be the best player on the entire field. Brandon Ayuk right now, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. This is a field that has offensive weapons of CMC, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Juwan Jennings, Elijah Mitchell. Everyone looks really sharp, but there is no one out here performing at the level of Brandon Ayuk right now. Brandon Ayuk just looks like he's on a completely different wavelength than everyone else. In red zone period, touchdown after touchdown. The best play of today was Brandon Ayuk catching a dart from Sam Darnold, probably around 15-20 yards over the middle of the field, short to intermediate. He caught it in the middle of the zone and then turned on the burners and went an additional 30-35 yards to the right pylon, beat the entire defense, scored a touchdown, and his exclamation point was taking the football and throwing it against the scoreboard. Brandon Ayuk, man, today just going absolutely crazy, doing it in every single way, whether beating guys up the seam, beating guys on slants. We had a scramble drill, basically, that had to happen where it looked like it would have been a potential sack. I think it was Javon Kinlaw who broke through. I think it was Trey Lance at quarterback who had to roll out to his right. And then you had, I think it was Sam Darnold. And then you had Brandon Ayuk in the running down the back of the end zone, and then was able to make a play on the football, touchdown. Brandon Ayuk went absolutely crazy today. I guess it's not a surprise at this point. But I know you guys want to know about the 49ers quarterbacks. I'm going to talk about the defense too. So no Brock Purdy today. Today was a scheduled rest day. So that meant a lot of reps for Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, and Brandon Allen. So far, since my time of being and covering training camp this year, best day for the quarterbacks. All quarterbacks played well today. The entire offense in general was humming. The run game was working. They were taking shots downfield, scoring touchdowns, making second effort plays. Really good job by all. I would say Sam Darnold today probably had the slight edge on everyone, but again, it was a good practice by all collectively. Sam had, again, a couple touchdown passes to Brandon Ayuk. He did some really good stuff. Trey Lance, though, started off really hot. He had a play-action pass. He had George Kittle running up the left seam. He delivered a beautiful ball in between two defenders, put it right on the money to George. George goes up, makes a really good catch. Probably about, 20, 25 yards downfield. Overall, man, there's a lot of good plays Brandon Allen was making plays. Running backs were making plays. Elijah Mitchell running really hard. Jordan Mason did have a fumble today, but Jordan Mason also had a potential touchdown. Again, it's hard to tell when they consider a tackle is occurring because they aren't taking these guys to the ground. But overall, man, really good stuff today. They did a lot of red zone period. Trey Lance had a touchdown to Conley. Let's see, what other stuff did we get? We had some Trey also scrambled. So Spencer Wagee came up the middle. I logged it as a sack, but I always put potential sack just because it's hard to be definitive because they don't take him to the ground and they let the play go and they kind of pull up. So it looked like Spencer Wagee came through, would have had a sack, but Trey Lance was able to scramble to his left and no one stopped him. He was able to run it in for a touchdown in red zone period. It was a nice play. Again, Brandon Ayuk was the favorite target of every quarterback on the day. It was really nice. Trey did have a little bit of a kind of shaky start on the second team period as there was another fumbled snap on the quarterback center exchange. Again, hard to determine true fault on that, but again, a little bit of a shaky start. And then the very next play, we would talk about defense a little bit. Drake Jackson. Oh, this to me was probably the defensive play of the day, where Drake Jackson is covering Elijah Mitchell on a wheel route on the left sideline. Drake Jackson is step for step in the hip pocket of Elijah Mitchell. Trey Lance tries to get the ball to Elijah, and it just hits Drake Jackson right in the back. Drake absolutely draped all over Elijah Mitchell in coverage. I mean, it's hard to give a full assessment on a defensive lineman without pads, but I'm telling you that Drake Jackson looks like a guy. The fact that he's running 20, 25 yards downfield with Elijah Mitchell, who is got some speed, and on his hip, like he's a defensive back, was pretty darn impressive. Again, every quarterback had a miss today, but overall, it was a good day nonetheless. Sam Darnold, for example, he tried to target Jawan Jennings over the middle in red zone period. It was a really tough contested catch. A lot of bodies around. Guess who was wide open on the left side? It was Brandon Ayuk, who ran a simple slant and would have been wide open. Again, it's hard to determine where these quarterbacks should be going with the football because a lot of the times these are predetermined reads. They're trying to attack certain parts of the defense. So again, that's why we always take what's happening in these training camp reps and try to provide its proper context. So we don't know if Sam was really trying to go for the slant, but it would have been open. Debo made a couple good plays today. He made a nice play over the middle. He had a potential touchdown on a screen pass from Sam. Honestly, man, I'm excited to kind of collect my thoughts a little bit more for the live later and go through the plays in more detail. But it was a good day. It was the best day by far by all the 49ers quarterbacks and the offense as a whole. Again, everyone was cooking for the most part. No one really stood out with really any consecutively bad plays. Bad plays are going to occur, but for the majority, Sam, Trey, and Brandon all had a good day, with Brock Purdy with a scheduled rest day. Again, Sam Darnold looks pretty good out here. It's hard to say otherwise. Trey, again, also looked good, and Brandon looked good. So, hey, it's a good spot right now for the San Francisco 49ers as they continue to push forward. Tomorrow is going to be padded practices, and things will really take another step forward. Excited, can't wait. Tap in for the live later to go more in depth with all the reps that occurred at practice.